Mike Tomlin, 15 years and people still want him fired. How ridiculous. Cole Sports presents on the Daily. Well, we made through another week. On the Daily, it's on tap, presented by Cole Sports. Cole Johnson's right here. And this is Friday, and I want to get busy typing. But I had to find a right subject to actually do it, and I found it. I found it perusing social media and having this discussion talking about how people are getting, I guess you could say, passes for success of days gone by. And they were lumping this gentleman in there. But I said, no, this gentleman deserves it. So for Mike Tomlin, I think I have to do one of these. Email Steelers fan. Subject of email: he is good. Body of email: look, where should I begin? Look at this past season. Why don't you? Talk about a yeoman's work. I mean, this gentleman had to take a team where it did not have all the talent that you would necessarily have. And let's just start with the quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. He's talented, of course, but he's on his last legs. He knows it. Ben knows it. The rest of the team knows it. And because of it, he's had to coach with the limitations therein and thereof. With that, he still pulls this team to a 9-7-1 record. Still, with the limitations of a dinged up and not so great offensive line, with the rookie running back that he still gained over 1,000 yards, but basically he was running through holes probably this small. Talented wide receiver with the number one receiver, Juju Smith-Schuster, out, not necessarily for the year, but out for a long period of time. And the Steelers finding new talent in wide receiver, Deontay Johnson being the diamond in the rough, so to speak. And then you go on the other side of the ball. Now, you have Casey Hayward, who mans the defensive line. You have TJ Watt, who is, to me, the defensive player of the year, getting 22 and a half sacks this year. And you have Mika Fitzpatrick, who he is a safety who can double as a linebacker. And because of the poorest way the Steelers in the first half were defending the run, he basically was their fifth linebacker because they're rather thin outside of TJ Watt in that regard. And we're talking about a team whose legacy is about the linebackers. They play a 3-4 defense, so they have to have 4 stout linebackers at all times. It's been the way ever since the Steel Curtain days. It really hasn't changed much, if at all, since then. But why does this man get the praise that I am giving him? It's simple. This guy's a player's coach, and he still is a man's man. What do I mean? So people love to play for this guy because he allows the freedom for them to be who they are. However, he has no qualms about calling bad play or bad behavior to the carpet. And he gives you what he expects. He expects to be treated the same way he gives, and he respects everybody who's under him. That is all, as a man myself, you want to have in your head coach and your leader. You want your leader to, when you're out of pocket and he is unafraid to tell you are, he will tell you that. But he also is man enough to allow you to be your own man. And if you need it, get enough rope so you can hang yourself. That's what a man wants in another man when he leads him. Mr. Tomlin is that. And think about this. We're dealing with a team that hasn't dealt with a coaching firing since 1969. Yes, that is when the first year of Chuck Noll happened. Since then, you had Chuck Noll, then you had Bill Cowher, now you have Mike Tomlin, who is 15 years into his tenure. And I would say those are pretty good head coaches, the both of them, and so is Tomlin. And Tomlin has won as many championships as Cowher, which was one. And I really believe, and has gone to as many Super Bowls as Cowher too. So people can miss me with the well. I think Cowher has lost his way. I think he's lost the team. I think he has. I think he has gotten as much as he can and gone as far as he can. Not so fast. No. There's a reason why the Steelers brass still has them employed. And part of that is what we saw this season. Now, I will say this bluntly. The Steelers should have been left for dead. And why do I say that? The Steelers ran the least amount of plays on offense with the lead, save for the Texans. That is how bad of a unit the Steelers offense has been. They have not played with a lead much. They have not dominated at all. And yet they still have a 9-71 record, and we get a chance to have them be in the spotlight game in the Super Wildcard weekend this Sunday. That speaks to many things. It definitely speaks to Fitzpatrick. It definitely speaks to Watt. Definitely speaks to Hayward. And it also speaks to Roethlisberger and even Najee Harris. But doggone it, it definitely speaks to the will of one Mike Tomlin. They believe they can be in games. They believe they can win games because he is patrolling the sideline, because he has spoken into the hearts of these men, because he has gotten into the heads of them, and because he believes in their talent, even if we all don't. And that's the mark of a leader. And Mike Tomlin right now is one of the best leaders we've had in today's NFL. Now, we should laud a man like Tomlin. We shouldn't nitpick. We shouldn't criticize to the point of boredom. We shouldn't brush aside the fact that this guy is uber talented at what he does. And what he does better to me than anybody else, he is a master motivator. Just think about it. There have been more years than 2021 where we just wrote this team off for dead. Many wanted him to be fired this year and other years. People didn't believe that Tomlin was the man, that Tomlin wouldn't get the most out of his players, that Tomlin has been tuned out by the people who play with him and people who play for him. And that year after year after year, he proves everybody wrong and everything different. This team shouldn't even be in the playoffs. And I'm not even saying because there was other teams that are more talented. No, I'm saying because of how the Steelers as a collective played. A head coach not worth his salt would not have gotten this team this far. But this man has. And you know what I loved the most about this whole thing? Sunday night, about 12:20 in the morning, January. I still have a hard time believing this. January the 9th, January the 10th, I'm sorry, 2022, we got a chance to see this happen. It could have been a tie between the Chargers and the Raiders, yet with a field goal that went right through the uprights, it wasn't a tie. And because of that, and because of the belief that the Jaguars would actually be more man than the Colts, we have the Steelers going into the playoffs, beating their biggest arch rival to do it as well. And that is the testament of this man. He gives you that hope. He gives you that belief. He makes you feel you can go through a brick wall. And why? It's because he challenges you as a man to go further than you think you can. He challenges you as a man to do more than you think you can do. He challenges you as a man to become better than what you believe you can be. And with a leader like that, why would you want anything or anybody else to lead you? Because to me, that's open and shut, the right man for the job. So right now, the Steelers have the right man for the job, and you don't have to hold he's only won one Super Bowl, and that was way back in 2008, and now we are 13 years beyond that. This man has had 15, count them, 15 seasons he has coached the Steelers. The first season that he's under 500 will be the first one. You have other coaches who have coached this long, like Andy Reid, like Sean Payton, like, well, I mean, you can even say Bill Belichick because he's had a losing season now. All those coaches I named at least had one losing season with their teams or with teams that they've coached. Tomlin hasn't had one. So it's time to stop wanting to get him out, thinking that you can just simply play him for stupid or play him for soft, and realize you're dealing with a man and you're rooting for a man. And the Steelers on the sideline have their man to lead them. Cole Johnson, Cole Sports with a Z.com on YouTube and on gmail.com. Now, I want to hear what you have to say, whether you agree with me or whether you don't. Your voice matters. Like this video and share it throughout all of your social media community. Comment below because I want to hear what you have to say. And don't forget, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell to get all content that emanates from here. Well, that's all the time I have. Thank you, VIP, for a wonderful week. I hope you enjoy all the content that comes from Cole Sports. But for now, I am Cole Johnson, and this has been yet another installment of Cole Sports on the visual and on the daily.